Hello and welcome to today's session. My name is Wayne and we are going to look at Hangouts Meet today and all the different ways that you can access this and use this in your classrooms as part of the G Suite for Education. So we've started here on the G Suite for Education landing page, and the first way I want to show you to access Hangouts Meet is, of course, by clicking on the Hangouts Meet button. Very, very simple. Now, just a reminder that up here, you need to make sure that you are signed into your education account. If you're signed into your personal Gmail account, it will actually come up with a different screen. And the easiest way for you to understand this is just down here where it says join or start a meeting with the plus button. If you're signed in with your Gmail account, it will actually give you the option to schedule a meeting, which we don't have in here. Now, of course, if we want to start a meeting straight away, what we can do is we just click on join or start a meeting. Now, we can rename this one, or you can leave it blank, totally up to you. And then once we click continue, it will come up here, and this just allows us to check all of the options. Now, my Chromebook has just done a reset, so I will allow it to record all of these things. I can see what's going to be shown on my user screen. And there are a couple of different setting options that you can use as well. Now, you can check your video and audio in here. Now you can adjust your speakers and your cameras and your microphone. And if I click next, what that will do is it will record a short, I believe it's a 10-second clip where you can test all of your sounds, make sure that everything is coming through nice and clear. Then to join the meeting, we click join now or present to share our screen once we jump in straight away. But we're actually not going to do that at the moment, because the next thing that I want to do is show you how to schedule a meeting. Now remember, if we clicked on the Hangouts Meet button down here, that enabled us to start a meeting straight away. But if you want to schedule a meeting, what you'll need to do is come up here to calendar. And if I click on calendar, you actually need to find the date and the time and schedule a meeting for this. So let's go through and schedule the link for this afternoon's meeting. So if I double click on that, I can see it's from 3:30. Let's say that we want it to go until 4 p.m. Fantastic. Now, you've got the option here to click make it a Google Meet video, and then that just adds on the link for us. Now, we can adjust some of the settings for the meeting straight away in here. This is really important, especially if you're going to be meeting with students and you're going to schedule this. What you can do is you can flick off quick access, and this just makes sure, so when it's turned off, the host must join first. And this is important because as a teacher, we need to make sure that we're supervising our students. And if you don't adjust this setting, your students will be able to get in there and have a chat with each other unsupervised. As a Department of Education employee, it is your requirement to make sure your students are supervised, so please do adjust this button here. Also, just a few other security concerns so that nobody can just drop into the meeting if they accidentally get the link. So I'm just going to click save on that. There we are, nice and easy. Okay, the next thing that we can actually do is down here on the Add Attachments button. This will open up our drive, and we can add a couple of different documents in here. So I'll just add the G Suite for Schools PL schedule. I'll attach that on, and I'll show you where you can access that in your meeting time a little bit later. Up in the top middle, we've got the blue save button. So I'll click on that. And there we are. There's my meeting there. It's been scheduled. And look at that. I can see that I can join with Hangouts Meet, nice and easy. And of course, you'll remember from last week, the international sign for copy to clipboard. So I can copy that, successfully copied to my clipboard. And now I can paste that into a classroom, into a current. I can post that into a Microsoft team. I can post that into a text message. I could post that into an email. You can, of course, send that link anywhere that you need to. And then if I jump back over to here and go into Hangouts Meet, you can see here, now I haven't titled that meeting, I probably should have titled it. We can go back and fix that up. I can either click to start a new meeting, or I can access my 3:30 p.m. meeting as well. And don't forget, if you are regularly meeting with colleagues or students and you want to use Hangouts Meet, you can schedule these to come through. You can invite certain users so that it sits in their calendars, and these meeting times will just pop up here in their schedule as well. So if I were to click on that, once again, we come back to this screen where we can test all of our options. But wait, there's more. So as well as being able to access it from Hangouts Meet and from our calendar, there is a brand new feature where you can access this from Google Classroom. So if we jump into our test classroom that we are using for this, our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really, really nice and easy. You'll be able to see here that I have enabled a Meet link. Now, if you haven't already done this, you will be able to just click on Create Meet Link. It will ask if you want it visible to students, click yes, and then it will come through into here. Now, what happens here is that your students are able just to click on this link. So you might have different classrooms for different reading groups, maths groups, high school classes, students in SSPs who are maybe on a partial enrollment. They can still click on that Meet link, and then it will bring them to this screen where they're able to click Join Now. What I wanted to show you in Classroom is if we come up here to the gear icon, international symbol for settings, and then if I scroll down and I can see my Meet icon here. If I click that that is no longer visible to students and then save, my students are not able to see this. And I can tell because the little eye icon is crossed out. So it means that it's not visible to students at this stage. That means that you have total control over when your students get to access this. If I want to pop it back on, easily done. Don't forget, you will have to click the save button to update that. What else I wanted to show you is you can reset the link if perhaps a student from another class has your link or somebody else has the link and you don't want them to have that there anymore. You can, of course, do that, or you can copy the link from there and post it into to allow other students to come through into your Hangouts Meet as well. So I will save that. But without further ado, let's go in and join our Hangout session. Now, we can, of course, this is just letting us know what session we are joining here. So this is why you may find it useful to name this 7R Science or Choir Practice or English Lessons for 5, 6. You can do all of these here, and you can, of course, copy that information and paste that into wherever you would need to send it. So we've got lots and lots of options in here. Across the top, the first bar tells us our participants in the meeting, and it also gives us an option for host controls. So I can switch this off, so now only the host is able to share their screen, and I can switch it off so that only the host is able to send chat messages as well. Because up in here, we do have a chat feature. Now, if I switch this back on, this would mean that anybody who's in this Hangouts Meet is able to chat to each other in the chat. It's an all or nothing situation. Either the host can post or everyone can post. You actually can't allow multiple or only a few users to post. So if you are sharing with a teacher, you'll need to make them a host as well. I'll leave that for you to decide if that's a feature that you would like your students to explore, or whether it's something that you may need to teach them how to be responsible users in there as well. So if I close that off, I've got the chat feature back up here. Again, we've already adjusted those features. And if I shuffle that along, this is where I can start to send questions out. I could ask questions. You may also like to post links to things in there as well. You can, of course, do that. Now, if I were to jump down here to my bottom left corner, you can see here, we've got the meeting name down in here. Now, remember in the calendar where I added those attachments before, if we were in that Hangouts Meet, we would be able to see those attachments just in there. So the benefit of this is that if you're scheduling meetings as well with students or colleagues, you can make sure that the documents are attached, ready to go, and any user is able to access those. We can mute ourselves with the microphone down here, and when that's done, You can see that it turns red. This is the hang up button. Obviously, you don't want to be doing that, but if you do, you can just click on the link and rejoin the meeting. This is the camera button, and as you can see, my microphone is still switched on, and you can see that around my face, the sound is coming out. So we can just switch that back on. We've got a raise hand feature, so students or participants in your meetings are able to raise their hand to ask any questions that may come through, and then you can enable their microphone as well as the host. This is a great tool because it captions everything that gets said. Granted, it's not perfect. And I think that you'll be able to understand if this is a tool that you would like to use, or maybe it's a tool that some of your students may find distracting, especially in the lower grades if they're not going to be able to follow along with this without any adult support, but we can switch those off again there. Then, of course, we've got our present screen. And what you can do when you're presenting is you can present your entire screen. I tend to find that the easiest way when I'm using Hangouts Meet because I like to jump around between different options. You can present just a window, but I tend to find then that if I am jumping into another application, that then I have to go back, exit presentation, and share screen again. If you know that you are just going to be showing a video for your participants, you can, of course, click on this tab, and that will use up a lot less bandwidth, and it should make your video play a little smoother. Over here on the traffic lights, we've got more options. And, of course, it wouldn't be a Google product if there weren't a million ways to personalize this for you. If you wanted to have a Jamboard with your students, what you can do is you can choose from Drive if you've got something that's pre-prepared, or you can start a new whiteboard. And all participants in here will receive in the chat, they'll receive a link to the Jamboard, and they'll be able to open it up, and everyone in the meeting will be able to collaborate in real time. This is a fantastic tool, especially if you're a teacher who might be teaching, say, 3 different groups of students for an extension reading groups class, for example, or perhaps you're doing some catch-up lessons in high school. Perhaps we're back to remote teaching and learning. You can still get your participants to work in Jamboard. And if you haven't checked out the T4L website for the professional learning on Jamboard, I highly recommend it because it is such a great tool for G Suite users. We can record these meetings. Now, just a reminder that you do need to give a written warning if you intend to record and you're scheduled a meeting, or give a verbal warning if you are about to record, and just give everybody the option to leave. So I usually say, I'm about to start recording this meeting. If you don't wish to be recorded, that's fine. Please jump out of the meeting now, and we'll give you the link to the recording a little bit later. And if anybody comes into the meeting late, you will need to remind them that the meeting is being recorded. A couple of these other options down here, you can change the layout for your students, and you can turn on the captions in here as well as reporting any issues that you have with this. That's it. Congratulations. You've just learnt to use one of the most powerful tools that we have in the G Suite for education. Now, this is great because it allows not only for interclassroom collaboration, so you could have students working together on a project with a particular teacher or even with each other, but you can also enable this for excursions that are done on-site at school via video link. You can invite other users to come in. So you might invite some expert others from the CSIRO, or perhaps your local politician's office. Maybe you've got a local company who's trying to be involved with the school and is working to collaborate with students as well. There are so many options with this. You could have your Year 6 students using a Hangouts Meet with their kindergarten buddies during the day. Perhaps they want to read a story. You could use this for peer support. There are so many options that you can use this for, and I really would love to hear how you plan on using this, or if it's a tool that you think you'll be able to use. As always, we need to train our students how to be safe, respectful learners with this technology. This is just a tool. It's not evil. It can be used for evil, and we need to help make sure that our students don't use it that way, that they are using it respectfully. My name's Wayne. Thank you so much for watching today. This link will be posted into the Currents team. Please feel free to share it with any of your colleagues. Watch it as many times as you would like. But for now, have a great afternoon and a great rest of the week, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.